When I moved into the old house on Birch Hollow Road, I told myself the creaking was just old wood settling, nothing more. That's what everyone says about houses like this, right? Built in the early 1900s, with a long porch and a narrow upper hallway that seemed a bit darker than it should be. The price was too good for the size, and I ignored the uneasy silence it came with. It was just me now. I needed space. A new start. The first night was quiet enough. I unpacked a few essential boxes, set up a mattress on the living room floor, and fell asleep with the windows open. Crickets, a soft breeze, and the distant hum of cars from the main road. It felt normal. Maybe this wouldn't be so bad. But the second night was when I heard it. Footsteps. Not heavy ones. Not stomping. Just walking. Slow. Deliberate. Like someone pacing. It was coming from above me. The attic. I sat up, listening so hard my head throbbed. The sound moved from one side of the ceiling to the other. And then it stopped. I waited for something else. A door. A creak. But nothing came. I didn't sleep again that night. The next morning, I checked the attic. I expected raccoons or something nesting. I brought a broom just in case. But when I pushed open the attic hatch, stale, cold air rolled out. Not the normal dusty attic smell. It was like something had sucked the warmth out of the space. The room was empty. No boxes. No insulation trails. No droppings. No signs of life at all. Just one thing. A single, old rocking chair in the center of the room facing the wall. I backed out, closed the hatch, and tried to convince myself that the noise was my imagination. Maybe the house shifts differently when temperatures drop at night. Maybe I was tired. Stressed. Adjusting. That night, the footsteps started again. And they were slower this time. Like whoever was up there wanted me to hear them. I tried to ignore it for 3 nights. I slept with headphones in. I turned on a fan. I even tried sleeping in my car at one point. But the footsteps continued, steady and unchanging, as if whoever or whatever was above me didn't care where I was. It only cared that I knew it was there. On the 5th night, the pacing stopped. Instead, it sounded like something dragged across the floor. A long, scraping pull. Over and over. I stared at the ceiling until sunrise. At that point, I called my neighbor. His name was Alan, a guy in his late 50s. I asked casually if he'd ever heard things up there. He looked at the house, then at me, and didn't answer at first. Finally he said, "Don't go into the attic at night. Whatever you do." My chest tightened. Why? He shook his head. Some houses hold memories. Some hold something worse. If you hear footsteps, don't answer them. Answer them. The wording bothered me. That night, the footsteps began earlier. Around 11 p.m. Not pacing this time. They started and then abruptly stopped, directly above where I was lying. Then I heard something that made my skin crawl. A soft knock. Not on the attic floor. On the attic hatch. Like something was knocking to come down. I froze. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. The knock happened again. Then a whisper. A real whisper. Close. Too close. Come up. I ran outside. I didn't care how stupid I looked. I slept in the car again. But in the morning, I found something new. The attic hatch was open. Not fully. Just a crack. Like something was testing how far it could go. I didn't want to go up there. Every part of my body told me not to. But fear has a strange way of pushing you toward the very thing you want to avoid. Because if I didn't look, my mind would never stop imagining something worse. I waited until noon. Sunlight was bright. The house was warm. I breathed deeply, grabbed a flashlight, and pulled the attic ladder down. The wood was ice cold. When I climbed into the attic, I expected to see the rocking chair again. But it wasn't there. Instead, it had been moved to the far corner of the attic, facing me. As if someone was waiting. There was something resting on the seat. A notebook. Leather-bound. Cracked with age. My flashlight flickered. I tapped it once and it steadied. I shouldn't have picked up the notebook. I know that now. But I did. I opened it to the first page. I hear them at night. They walk when the house sleeps. They are patient. The next page. They told me to come upstairs. I did. I wish I hadn't. The handwriting changed on later pages. Messier. Frantic. It watches from the corner. It knows I can see it. It wants me to sit with it. Several pages were torn out violently. The last entry that remained. If you hear it, don't come up. I lowered the notebook, my pulse hammering in my skull. The rocking chair creaked. But I wasn't touching it. Something behind me exhaled. A slow, cold breath that touched the back of my neck. I didn't turn around. I ran. I practically fell down the ladder, slammed the hatch closed, and locked it. I heard something above me, shifting. Just once. Then silence. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the living room with every light on. Nothing happened. No footsteps. No dragging. No knocking. But somewhere between 3 and 4 a.m., I realized something important. Silence is worse. Because silence means waiting. When morning came, I packed. I didn't care about the rest of my belongings. I went to grab my keys from the kitchen counter. They weren't there. They were on the attic hatch. Placed neatly. Like someone was encouraging me to come back. I left the keys. I left the house. I didn't call the realtor. I didn't call the police. I didn't even tell the neighbor goodbye. I drove away and didn't look in the rearview mirror once. But some nights, when everything is quiet, I still hear footsteps. Not above me this time. Behind me. Following. Because I made the mistake I was warned not to make. I answered them.